I'm one of the few early adopters of the PlayStation Vita, and like with all recent platform releases, I found myself not playing the system much in its release year. I had neglected my Vita for almost 2 years until the PlayStation Plus started to give out games like Gravity Rush and Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. Even then, I played it very minimally compared to my 3DS, but with my recent surge of Japanese entertainment, I finally decided to give Persona 4 Golden a try. It happened to get a price drop around February, which was around the time when I was looking for another game to play. I must say that buying Persona 4 Golden is one of the best decisions I've made in a long time. For those who are unfamiliar, the Persona series is a JRPG that takes place in modern times and revolves around high schoolers in Japan who discover a way to summon and control powerful beings called Personas. Despite being fourth in the main series, it actually has no connection to the first two, and only slight and unimportant references to the third one. The idea alone seems very bizarre, but I quickly realized how great of an idea it was. I would consider the main focus of the game to be story. There is very little to no customization in cosmetics, but you do input your first and last name, which gives the game a more personal feel to it, with the characters calling you by your name or desired name. In fact, the game focuses so much on the story that you don't actually get into the battles until a few hours in the game. The characters are introduced in a realistic manner because you start off moving into the town of Inaba, where you don't know anyone and are staying with your uncle and his younger daughter. The first few moments display perfectly how much they try to immerse you into the game. New school, new town, new people, all of these come together to make the world seem real. Voice acting is present in a large portion of the game. The voice cast is fantastic, fitting every character's appearance and personality perfectly. You can tell that Atlus tried their best to provide actors that fit each character's part. Again, going for immersion. They provide the main character, you, with little to no voice acting because generally the game gives you a set of speech options. The game progresses through an in-game calendar. You start the game in the middle of April and progress through almost the whole year. Many games have had a time system, but never before had I seen this system being used. Instead of having time move on its own, they separate the day into sections, consisting of daytime, after school, evening, etc. The game stays in one of those states until you decide to do something. Aside from early or late scripted events, you are set free to do whatever you want, spend time with friends, work, study, watch a movie, fish, and more. Of course, there are certain criteria that determine how many choices are available, but the important thing is that everything causes time to pass. The game itself tells you to be wise about how you spend your days. Aside from the common RPG stats, your character also has stats on social traits, which have their own place in real life, such as knowledge and diligence. You are able to increase those stats in a variety of ways, ranging from reading a book, doing a specific job, getting the correct answer in a class, or simply making certain speech decisions. The game itself is somewhat of a social commentary on life. It shows the importance of bonds we form with people, and emphasizes the idea of having a facade, or should I say persona. Everyone has a side of themselves that they hide from the public, inner thoughts and how we can overcome them, or as the game says, facing yourself. There are so many aspects to this game that reflect on the way our society reacts to certain beliefs or actions. I experience a slew of emotions throughout this game. I feel like I've written so much thus far and have yet to get into the combat aspects of the gameplay, or a few specifics of the story. The primary thing that the developers wanted to achieve with the story was for the player to not see everything that the game has to offer in just one playthrough. They do this by having over 20 social links, which are the bonds formed with other people. On my first playthrough, I only completed about 13 of the socials. The game features a new game plus that carries over certain things from the past save, including the overall playthrough. The game has multiple endings, and of course I won't spoil anything, but I will say that one of the endings that you can get really makes you miss a lot of content. The fact that they allowed you to miss so much content is surprising to me. The best advice I could give to someone about the game is to really analyze the situation and don't let your emotions get the better of you. In many ways, it's what the game tries to teach you in the first place. Despite the fact that the game takes place in a normal modern-day town, there is a very intuitive battle system that only occurs in the TV world. It is turn-based, and like the standard RPG, friends and foes alike can have weaknesses and strengths to specific attack types. Some may compare the system to other popular games like Pokemon. This, in my opinion, is way more complex. There are a total of 8 attack types. What makes this more complex is the way each skill could work. All physical attacks, aside from the standard, use HP instead of SP. Not only are there strengths and weaknesses, but there's also reflection, nullification, and absorption. Reflection is self-explanatory. Nullification means attack won't have an effect, and absorption means the damage gets converted into HP. There are also elements that can make or break the battle. They consist of enrage, silence, fear, exhaustion, enervation, confusion, and dizziness. Hitting weaknesses matter even more in this game because of the one more mechanic that allows someone who knocks down an enemy to get another skill off in the same turn. Despite how complex the battle system might sound, the game does a great job in slowly easing the player into new mechanics. I came into this game only having played a slight amount of Shin Megami Tensei 4, which has similar mechanics, and I never felt that the game threw stuff at me without some explanation, or at least left room for some experimentation. The dungeons themselves have randomized map layouts which change each time you move up or down a floor. You are free to move around the 3D environment consisting of doors, chests, and enemies that, depending on how you approach them, someone may start with an advantage or disadvantage. The game limits your party size to 4 people, including yourself. Party members are set to act freely by default, but can be changed to follow your command, as well as other tactics. For the most part, the auto-attack AI works very well in making your party members experiment in discovering weaknesses and avoiding moves that are known to be useless against certain enemies. I found myself using Act Freely majority of the time, except in boss battles and sub-boss battles, where it is best to plan out every attack, defend, or heal. It was nice knowing that if I ever wanted to level grind, the party AI was smart enough to defeat enemies as soon as possible. I found it strange that if your party members run out of HP, you can revive them, but if you run out of HP, you can't get revived and get a game over. Fortunately, at least on normal difficulty, if you die in battle, you are able to restart from the beginning of the floor instead of being sent out of the dungeon or having to reload the save. There is no quick save feature like some games have, but I feel that it is less of an issue since it's on a handheld, which can be put on sleep mode and resumed at any time. I would imagine that I would have found it more annoying if I had played the original on the PS2. You are the only one who is able to carry multiple personas, each of them with their own individual level and stats. Instead of something like evolution to make personas stronger, there is a fusing system that allows you to fuse personas together and create new ones. Generally, when personas are fused, they tend to increase in level unless your level is too low. One part I really wanted to touch on was the fantastic soundtrack of the game. This quickly became one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time. Every song fits stupendously with the environment and situations of the game. I specifically enjoyed the work of the vocalist Shihoko Hirata, who sings majority of the songs in the game. She sings all of the songs in English, and I've heard that some people don't like her as a singer because of the way she sings most of the lyrics. Most of the time it is impossible to tell what she is saying, but I feel that it's because of that the music is so catchy and doesn't fall to being repetitive. I imagine that, like me, you will begin to wish that your day had some of the game's music in the background. The music that isn't vocalized I found to also be enjoyable. There are multiple boss tracks that succeed in making moments feel epic. As the name suggests, Persona 4 Golden is an HD remake of Persona 4, which was already regarded as one of the best RPGs on the PS2. Aside from the redone graphics, they actually added a good amount of content to the game. There are many minor tweaks to battles, personas, and quests. Notable additions consist of 2 new social links, new events, a few new locations such as the beach city and more dungeons, and an extended epilogue to the story's true endings. With the Vita's online capability, they added something called Voice, which is a button you can touch on the screen that displays multiple speech levels indicating how other players decided to spend their time during the current day in the game. In dungeons, the button turns into an SOS button that allows you to send or receive help from other players. The only help you receive is a slight gain of HP and SP at the start of the next battle. The amount received depends on how many people sent help, but for the most part it is very minor and won't make the game significantly easier. If anything, it is a nice add-on that makes you feel more connected with the other Persona fans. One other feature that I imagine pleased longtime fans of the series is the TV listings menu that works as the game's extras menu. It has a large variety of videos and features that unlock as you go through the game. Persona 4 is easily one of my favorite games of all time. Despite me finishing it about 2 weeks ago, Persona is still consuming most of my free time. I began playing Persona 3 FES on the PS3 and have been watching the Persona 4 anime as well as listening to the music from the game on my phone. It took about 90 hours, which I know is more than the average, to beat the game for the first time, and I already started a new game plus on hard difficulty. And it's just as fun, if not more fun, on the second time through. I loved every bit that this game has to offer. The only gripe I would have with this game would be the fact that so much can be missed by simply not picking the right response towards the end of the game. The music and characters, the gameplay, it is all near perfection. The mood of the story is a good balance using elements of drama, action, comedy, and mystery that make the game's story and characters feel all the more real. Don't mistake this for a dating simulator with RPG mechanics. I would consider this a friendship simulator with the possibility of dating similar to a game like Mass Effect. If you don't usually enjoy turn-based RPGs, you should still give this game a try, because it may change your mind. If you have a Vita and don't have this game, then you are either missing out or aren't the type to enjoy story-heavy games. Persona 4 Golden gets a 9.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoy.